As far as you know. Oh, sorry. No problem. How is mind control used in the music business, the entertainment industry?
Oh, the music business? Well, I'll answer that.
And is there something about the tuning when A=440 was brought on by the Rockefeller Association? Because there used to be all these different tunings, and some are more dissonant to consciousness, that kind of stuff.
When I was growing up in the project, when I was still very, very young, the Jacksons were just coming on the music scene, and Michael Jackson was about the same age. And he was subjected to the same multi-generational project that I was. Project Monarch is what it was called at that time. And at the same time, the Osmonds were being brought up in it. And the harmonics in the music made them, giant stars in addition to their talent. But as Michael Jackson said, that he was his music. That's why he moved. He thought he believed he was the music, it was his programming. And the more you know about mind control, the more you see how that was done. With the Osmonds, it was used very deliberately to bring people into the Mormon church, because they were like the Pied Pipers into the Mormon church. So the harmonics were used in the music with them to make them big stars and bring people in. Because technology is highly used in the Mormon church for mind control of the masses in there as well. Those are the two examples I know of. And then in the country music industry, it was just totally saturated with it too.
The one that I was associated with, and I can talk about it now because it's on the back of album jackets, was an Elvis. Matter of fact, I kept an apartment at the International while Elvis lived there for several years. My job was very, very, very mild. As a matter of fact, I had no idea why they paid me so much money to be staffed there 3 days a week. But I got to know his dad, and many years later, Kathy and I sat down, and someone had given us an album, the last album that was put out, the one where he does American Trilogy. On the back of that album, it says it was a mysterious black van, an enormous van that was totally unidentifiable as far as being made by any particular company. It looked way into the future type stuff. This is what's peculiar about it, where there were bundles of cable and men in suits that were showing their weapons, and that they were guarding every inch of this thing, all the way as it went into back, in the back of the auditorium where all the equipment was. Everybody's always wanting to know what was in that truck. Well, I don't want to be tried for sedition, so I'm not going to tell you what was inside that truck. I'm just going to tell you that harmonics that were embedded over the top or underneath Elvis's voice at the time the audience was there. I was the guy taking pictures of the audience of the ones who were clapping. Because if you listen to that song, and remember, there were 400 people in that packed auditorium at the casino at the International. After he came and finished singing that song, you could hear 3 or 4 people going. No cheering, no nothing. And as soon as they turned off the equipment, everybody just went into a frenzy, jumped to their feet, everything. But
Not all harmonics are audible.
no, they're not all.
I'll tell you how it works everywhere in the world, not just Hollywood. But everywhere in the world, women are forcibly impregnated through rape in families, and their children held for ransom by the particular psychopath who heads that household. It's so every day that, I just really want to make the point that when people say, oh, Hollywood, and they keep on putting that on, that's everybody. It's not just Hollywood. women in Hollywood are addicted to drugs, and they're beaten, and they're kept in line, and their families are threatened. And, you know, it comes from inside their families. I think, oh, that's why. And you know what? It happens to men, too. It happens to artists. It happens to men, artists, and women show up who steal their money and beat up their kids. And it's not even. It's not even what we think it is. It's just a culture of violence and rewarding psychopathic behavior. I mean, man, it's like, wow. Just talking plain about it, people are trained through abuse to, you know, salivate when the bell rings. That's it, period, right? Just as simple, you know. And you know, for you not to, like, I had these neighbors, and their kid was always yelling, and I would be like, should I call the police, or is this just, you know what I mean? And everybody is asking themselves those same things all the time. Shall I continue to support what is abhorrent and intolerable, or not? And it's like such a great time. And the reason why I love Kathy so much is because she is like the most positive, after all she's been through, she's the most positive thinker in the world, of which that's astounding. I always call her up and say, give me the good news. And we've done a lot of bitching tonight and whatever. Can I just have you tell us the good news right now before I get pretty nervous breakdown? Tell us the good news. Tell us the good news.
The good news is people all over the world are waking up out of this.
By the way, at one point, when we went over to promote our German edition, because now we have 16 foreign editions, and we're in about 60 different countries. And we did it with no advertising, and I don't get any royalties because of zero. We charge a little fee up front, and that's it. We actually got to speak where Hitler, I got to use the same podium as Hitler did when he was addressing some of these elite SS troops. It was almost
It's like universal
just
justice.
Regan, Germany. And then a couple of weeks ago, we got an offer from the CEO to screen opulent and large hospitals. I wouldn't call them psychiatric hospitals, I call them mental health recovery centers. They have a huge staff of psychologists and psychiatrists. They stay away from drugs if humanly possible. They'll do anything before they use drugs or alcohol. They don't do that. But when we found out, and I'm giving them tattoos, when we found out that these people were doing what we've spent 25 years going around the world preaching, I'm going, what the hell?
And mind control began there, and they're reaching out to the rest of the world with healing from it and PTSD. There's good people all over the world that are reaching out and with full understanding of what's happening to people in the United States being traumatized and then led. And it's a global awakening, and there's a lot of compassion. As people regain their truth, they're regaining compassion. And that's making all the difference in the world.
By the way, any country that's run by a woman, there's only two countries on the planet that I would run to, and they're both run by women.
All right, so we've got about 35 minutes left for the Q&A, so we'll just try to work through these. I probably wouldn't suggest for anybody else to get in line for the Q&A because we'll probably have difficulty getting through everyone that we've got there now. So we'll just try to get it quick.
Hi guys, I was wondering if you guys could name names of current people, doctors, institutions, government members in Canada, current, like how can we look into these people right now? Because it's probably still going on up here, but I know we can't do much in America, but what can we do here, and who can we look into, and who can we talk to?
First thing we can talk about would be the founder of the American Psychiatric Association. American Psychiatric Association, who's Dr. Ewing Cameron. And Dr. Ewing Cameron got caught. And as a result of that, in the 1977 senatorial Frank Church hearings, he was exposed. Now you got to remember, this guy was the opening act for the American Psychiatric Association. Every psychiatrist in the world subscribes to everything that they read in that. Mental health is the youngest of the healing arts. Guess what? Mental health it was controlled from its onset. It's been tightly controlled. It's run and owned by the drug companies. And it's extraordinary that we found 2 hospitals in Germany, of all places, that weren't subscribing to that.
I know somebody you can look up to, and he's from here, Dr. Colin Ross Institute, and he's written on Operation Bluebird, Project Monarch, Artichoke, MK Ultra, and you know, he is currently living in the United States, but I mean, he's got all the info that you could ever hope to, all classified.
We don't have any.
The more you know about mind control, the easier it will be to see. The more you know, the more you see, and that will help tremendously. Because the only 2 that I was exposed to, and